Good morning. Turn in your book to the page that says War on the Water. And then turn in your notes to box 1. It says, have you ever played volleyball or football in the pool? What obstacles did you encounter that were different from playing on land? If you haven't played these sports in a pool, just imagine how might it be harder to play volleyball or football in a pool instead of on land. Make sure you're writing 2 to 3 sentences. Next, we're going to preview our vocabulary. The first word is Navy. Navy is a branch of the nation's armed services that conducts military operations at sea. So it's the sea version of the military. This picture would be an example of the Navy. Next we have port, a place on the coast where vessels, which is another word for ships, can find shelter, especially when protected from rough water by piers, jetties, or other artificial structures. This is an example of a port. It's where you can park your boat. It's kind of like a parking lot for boats. Next we have blockade, an act or means of sealing off a place to prevent goods or people from entering or leaving. So in this picture, it's a snake, but the snake symbolizes I think it's the Union. The Union ships were in the Gulf of Mexico and up along the Atlantic coast, and they were keeping supplies from coming to the Confederate States. Their ships were blocking the other ships that were trying to come help the Confederates, and they kept them from reaching land with the supplies. So that's known as a blockade. In order to find the main idea of the text, which is our focus question, we want to ask a how or why question about our title, War on the Water. So you could say, how does the author describe war on the water? Why was war on the water important? How was war on the water effective? All great questions. When you're ready, we're going to begin reading at the top of page 50. You can pause the recording to finish writing down your answers and press play when you're ready. The navies of the North and South played an important role in the war. Union sailors fought Confederates on the rivers and blocked southern seaports. President Davis's Navy commissioned vessels that attacked Union merchant ships and stole their cargoes. Cargo is the items on the ship, like weapons or food. The navies also changed the technology of warfare. The South produced the world's first ironclad warship, the CSS Virginia. In return, the Union built an ironclad named the Monitor. To defend against Union vessels, Confederate engineers perfected floating explosive mines that threatened ships entering southern waters. Go ahead and underline the answer to your how or why question. We know that the navies in the North and South played an important role in the war because they fought the war on the water. When you're ready, scroll down to this picture and caption that says the Alabama. Commanded by Admiral Semmes, the Confederate raider Alabama was built secretly in the UK and had a crew of foreign volunteers. It attacked Union merchant ships in the Atlantic and stalked the waters around Africa and the Mediterranean. Question 2A, what made the ship the Alabama unique? Well, this is the first ship I've heard of that was secretly built in the UK, which stands for the United Kingdom, or England. And then it says, what role did the Alabama play in the Civil War? And then the last sentence tells us that it attacked Union merchant ships in the Atlantic and stalked the waters around Africa and the Mediterranean. Take a moment to write down your answer and press pause, and then press play when you're ready to continue. Next, we're on the next page where it says the CSS Arkansas. This 10-gun Confederate vessel was armored with railroad rails and iron plates. As a Union fleet approached it in Louisiana in August 1862, its engines broke down. To keep it out of Union hands, the crew set it on fire and abandoned it. The Arkansas floated downriver and sank. 3A. How did the crew respond when the vessel's engines broke down right before battle? Well, it says they set it on fire and abandoned it. They let it float down the river and sink. Take a minute to write down your answer and then press play when you're ready to begin. Next question, what do these actions reveal about the crew? Well, this lets me know that they didn't want whatever supplies was in the ship to get into Union hands. So they were showing how loyal they were to the Confederate Army by destroying the ship before the Union could benefit it. And 4, Union Minesweeper. You can press pause if you're still writing down your answer to 3 and then play when you're ready. It says, this is the Union ironclad Saugus in Virginia's James River. A brave Union naval officer stands on the platform above a net that juts from its prow. He directs the ironclad to sweep up an explosive mine. If the device explodes, the officer could get killed. 4A. What makes this type of vessel unique? Well, this is the first time I've heard of a ship sweeping up explosives out of the water. So it's designed to sweep explosives out of the water. And then it says, what traits do you need? What traits were needed to operate the vessel? What traits were needed to operate the vessel? Why? Well, the text tells us that the naval officer needed to be brave, and we know he needed to be brave because he could be killed doing his job and doing the recording. Next, you need to go ahead and write your paragraph. How does the author describe war on the water? Ready, set, go.